welcome everyone. So you've heard a little bit about me, and there's my PMI membership number. You know, it's not all about the PMI. It's about projects. It's about project delivery. It's about our project management environments. And we're going to certainly address probably the most important part about any project, and that's the communication piece to it, and what makes a great project manager in the communication side. What I'd like to do, instead of talking a bit more about me, is maybe just have you guys introduce yourself. And I'm going to do this so that you can make sure you get to the chat box. And the chat box is the way we're going to communicate today. This is interactive, and maybe webinars that you've been on typically aren't interactive, but I can't stand talking for an hour on my own and just to a blank wall. So what I'm going to do is ask you to use the chat box to talk to me, to respond to me. We're going to ask you some questions. We're going to get you involved. So get ready, and if you are just simply sitting back and having a sandwich or a coffee at your desk with your feet up, that's cool too. But hoping that most of you will be able to interact. Why don't we start by just simply going to the chat box, and you don't give me a name, just type in the city you are calling from. Would you do that for me? Let's see how we do. And this is, as I say, just a quick way to A, find the chat box, and B, for you folks to say hi. So we've got lots of Texas, Dallas, Houston, Milton, Cincinnati, St. Louis, Kentucky, and we got more in Dallas, Harrisburg, Clinton. I'm doing my best, guys. You guys are doing great. Baton Rouge, West Lafayette, Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Dallas. Thank you. Mumbai has checked in. I was thinking this is awfully U.S.-centric. Anybody else from outside? Detroit's here, Chicago, Norcross, Colorado Springs. Oh, man, love that snow. Loveland, Colorado as well. Chennai, India. Krishna, thank you for joining us. It's wonderful to have you guys here from India, from Mumbai as well. Terry from Atlanta, New York City's here. Ann Arbor, Little Rock, Arkansas. You guys done great. Okay, well, we got a pretty good cross-section of everyone there. It looks like 95% U.S.-based. Oh, my goodness, Toronto from Sandra. Sandra, welcome. I'm in Port Credit, Ontario, just around the corner from you. Hi from Dover, Delaware. Folks, great to have everyone here. Let me begin by just apologizing. A bit of a cold, nothing too serious. You might just hear me muffled. Oh, we've got Barcelona, Spain. So, yes, we now have 4 countries represented in Canada, U.S., India, and Barcelona, Spain, I should say. Just checking. I think that was it for the different countries. Good to have everyone here. And welcome Dearborn and welcome Boston. You guys aren't going to stop. Folks, we're talking about project management and communication. I want to declare my sources very briefly. The first source is a report done. It's called the Pulse of the Profession by the PMI a couple of years ago, and I've sort of taken some stuff out of there, a couple of quotes, but important that they've done a pretty critical view of the world of communication within the project management environment. The other is a book that I have published that was mentioned in my introduction called The Keys to Our Success. I'm the compiler. You see my name in the bottom left-hand corner. I went around to a bunch of people and I asked them a key question. The question I asked them was, if I sat you down and I asked you what's the key piece of advice you would share for success in project management? You know, you're a great project manager, I said to these folks. What's your key nugget? What's the key nugget you take into any project environment that makes you successful? And the results are in this book, 25 chapters by 25 different project managers. And I can tell you so many dealt with the communication piece. We're going to touch upon a couple of those areas that were mentioned in the book. But this is just the source, as I say, of some of my information. I'll give you a little idea, by the way, the chapters that were in the book. Some of the authors you may well know, mostly Canadian, U.S., a couple from Europe. But and by the way, this is version 1. Version 2 is in the works. But some great chapters. Now, the cool thing about this for you folks is that I am going to arrange for you now to get a free copy of the ebook for here. The ebook is about $2.99. For being here in this webinar, I'm going to get you the free e-copy. So stick around to the end. I'll give you the URL you log into. I'll get you to my site, and with a bit of information that you can unsubscribe to afterwards if you want. I'll explain it later. You can get a copy of the ebook for this book called The Keys to Our Success. Okay? So that's about it. That's me. Enjoy this. You know, I call this effective communication skills for project managers. Other days I call this what's in your communications engine. What makes the whole system tick, and it really is all about communicating. So talk to me, folks. Type chat box. Why is communicating so important within a project? Or what's the downside? What can happen with poor communication? What are some of the massive risks that we face with lousy communicating? Talk to me on the chat box, please. I'm going to take a glass of water while you guys type. It's important. Why are you here? Why do you think that within a project environment is important? Mistakes, yeah, of course. Assumptions, huge assumptions. When we don't keep that communication line going, we often hear how often in our projects, oh, gee, I didn't get that. Delays in the project, scope creep, huge. You lose clients, you lose your job. Oh, man, Lori, love that. Thank you. At the bottom line is if you can't manage a good communications stream within a project, you're going to lose your clients. Carla talks about scope creep. Someone says there's no I in team, it's a team effort. You bet, but it's all about communicating with the team, isn't it? Not all participants on the same page. I like that one. Thank you. Lots of confusion. Communicating is so important. Updates and status is not presented early on, so reports look like they are incomplete. You know what, John? You say you're right. Project manager's main job is to communicate. I totally agree with that. It's the project manager's job, folks, is to keep the line of communication open within all sections and all parts of a project. The bottom line is that. Those that don't get us say, aren't you here to make it happen faster, cut the budget, do this, do that. It's not. It's to keep information flowing. It's to make sure people know what they're supposed to do, when they're supposed to do it. It's to make sure the key stakeholders, all the people involved have got the information they need, the right time, the right place, and the right format. Just some other comments. Spending client poorly tends to lose clients. Know your requirements, lack of purpose, vision, mission. Without good communication, you bet. It's hard to balance speed of the project with relationship building. Absolutely. Everyone needs to understand what you are creating, and we go on. The hardest part of a project, people, total different presumptions that are not defined explicitly, causing confusion and failure. We go back to an original piece that someone said, it's these huge assumptions. This person here said, I see, it's the person above. John says, different presumptions. Sorry, I'm beginning the name wrong because WebEx has got the from John and then the full colon. I should be reading this well. Matt says, people are the hardest part of the project, conflicts between stakeholders, deliver the wrong solution, unhappy customers. So, folks, absolutely. List goes on and on and on. Thank you for that. So, touching upon some of the things you probably said, difference in expectations, absolutely. Big surprises, lack of control. The right fingers, not on the pulse. The project at the last minute. You know, without that confusion, wait a second, I love this. Sanjay says, I remember Dilbert cartoon of what customer need and what was delivered, so communication is key, absolutely. Mistakes are costly. Right fingers are not on the pulse. People are impacted by the project at the last minute because they didn't get the message, because we all didn't communicate properly. Team members don't know what's going on, misunderstood requests, wrong deliverables, project failure. Bottom line, you're here to deliver on time, on budget, on scope. You're here to get your head into the business. You can't do it without proper communications. That's why this webinar is absolutely vital to all of us. Web poll, this is by Computing Technology Industry Association, CompTIA in Illinois. 28% or more of the 1,000 respondents to the survey said poor communication is the #1 cause of project failure. Bingo. It's hugely important. Ineffective communication is the primary contributor to project failure 1/3 of the time. Absolutely. Negative effect on project success more than half.